January 2023. A grocery store bagger from Puerto Rico just became invisible, not literally, but in the only way that matters when you're the most streamed artist on planet Earth. Bad Bunny spent $8.8 million on a mansion in the Hollywood Hills. But here's what nobody tells you about that purchase. The property wasn't even for sale. No listing, no agent tours, no public record until the deed is transferred. If you drove past 1651 Haslam Terrace right now, you'd see nothing. Towering hedges, walls, gates that reveal zero. You could be standing 10 feet away and have no idea what's behind them. But once those gates open, everything changes. The twist. Because this isn't just a mansion, it's two separate structures designed for a life most people can't comprehend. The main house sprawls across 5 bedrooms, contemporary, clean lines, floor-to-ceiling windows. But that's just the beginning. There's a completely separate guest house, 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, its own entrance, sitting on the same half-acre property, but designed for total independence. If you're thinking that's excessive, you don't understand how Bad Bunny actually lives. The climb. Let's go back to 2018. Benito is working at a supermarket in Puerto Rico, bagging groceries, dreaming about music, uploading tracks to SoundCloud, hoping someone, anyone, notices. 5 years later, he's writing a check for $8.8 million. But here's where the story gets interesting. Because Bad Bunny didn't buy this mansion to show off, he bought it to disappear. Think about what happens when you become that famous. Paparazzi camping outside your house. Fans are showing up at random hours. Every movement documented. Every private moment potentially becomes tomorrow's headline. If you're anyone else in Hollywood, you hire more security, build taller fences, accept that privacy is dead. But if you're Bad Bunny, you buy elevation. The location strategy. This mansion sits high in the Hollywood Hills, not at street level where tour buses cruise by, not in some gated community where neighbors can still see your comings and goings. Up, hidden, perched where the only thing above you is sky and the only thing below is the entire city of Los Angeles. The Sunset Strip glitters beneath like a circuit board. West Hollywood spreads out in all directions. From his balcony, Bad Bunny looks down on the entertainment capital of the world. But that view comes with something more valuable than aesthetics: isolation. The reveal. Now here's the part that makes this purchase genius. The mansion was built in 2005. The original owner sold it in 2015 for $8.2 million. For the next 8 years, someone lived there quietly, renovated the entire interior, fresh white walls, contemporary finishes, state-of-the-art everything. Then, in early 2023, they sold it to Bad Bunny for $8.8 million in an off-market deal. He paid $600,000 more than the last sale price. If you know LA real estate, that's actually a bargain for what he got. Move-in ready, zero construction, no delays, no contractors, no architects arguing about timelines, just keys and immediate privacy. But the real value wasn't in the discount. It was in secrecy. Nobody knew he was buying. Nobody knew he was looking. The deal closed, and suddenly, he owned a compound in one of LA's most exclusive neighborhoods without a single headline. Walk through those gates, and your expectations shatter immediately. You're expecting modern, sleek, minimalist in that cold, untouchable way most celebrity homes feel. But Bad Bunny's mansion has something completely unexpected: a sunken living room. That retro, beautifully 70s design choice that architects abandoned decades ago. Except this one's been reimagined for 2023. Plush seating that probably costs more than a car. Acoustics designed for late-night listening sessions. And right next to it, a wet bar that looks like it belongs in a high-end speakeasy. If you're wondering why a 30-year-old reggaeton artist chose a sunken living room, think about his work schedule. Studio sessions that run until 4 a.m. Collaborators flying in from 3 continents. Producers camping out for weeks, perfecting a single album. When the work is done, and everyone's exhausted, you don't want to leave the house. You descend 2 steps into that living room, pour something expensive, and let the conversation drift while the city sleeps below. But here's where Bad Bunny's design choices get fascinating. Everything in the main house is white. Walls, furniture, fixtures. That gallery quality, museum-like white that makes every object in the room stand out. Most people would call that impractical. White shows everything. Stains, scuffs, wear. But that's exactly the point. The white forces care, demands intention. You can't be careless in a space like this. Every choice matters. Every item has to earn its place. For someone whose entire career is built on artistic precision, on refusing to compromise his vision, this design makes perfect sense. If the space demands perfection, you bring perfection. The kitchen. The kitchen isn't just a kitchen, it's command central. Multiple ovens, because when you're feeding a production team, one oven is amateur hour. Viking appliances that cost more than most people's annual rent. A massive island that doubles as a workspace and a gathering point. But the genius move? The one detail that separates this from every other celebrity kitchen in LA? Sliding glass doors that erase the boundary between inside and outside. You're chopping vegetables at the counter. The doors are closed. It feels contained. Focused. Then you slide them open, and suddenly you're standing in California sunshine. The infinity pool shimmers 20 feet away, the city sprawls below, and you realize the kitchen isn't confined to 4 walls. It expands into the entire property. The guest house revelation. Now let's talk about that guest house, because this is where Bad Bunny's strategy becomes crystal clear. 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, separate entrance, sitting on the same property but completely independent from the main house. If you're thinking that's just overflow space for guests, you're missing the point entirely. This is a studio, a recording space, a collaboration zone that exists separately from where Bad Bunny actually lives. When Taney flies in from Puerto Rico to produce tracks, he's not staying in a hotel, he's in the guest house, 20 feet from the main house, but operating in his own world. When artists come through to lay verses, they're not invading Bad Bunny's personal space. They're working in a dedicated area designed for creation. But here's the brilliant part. If something leaks, if a demo gets out, if someone records a session and posts it online, it didn't come from Bad Bunny's house. It came from the guest house. There's physical separation, plausible deniability. In an industry where privacy is currency and leaked material can tank an entire album rollout, that separation isn't a luxury, it's survival. The primary suite. Upstairs, the primary suite exists in a different dimension. Private balcony overlooking the entire city. Ensuite bathroom with a rain shower and soaking tub positioned perfectly for views. The walk-in closet is so massive that it has its own lounge area inside it. If that sounds excessive, remember who we're talking about. Bad Bunny is a global ambassador for Gucci. He's collaborated with Jacquemus, Adidas, and Calvin Klein. His limited edition Crocs sold out in minutes. He turned fashion into another form of artistic expression. For someone operating at that level, a closet with a sitting area isn't a vanity, it's infrastructure. The outdoor twist. But forget the inside for a moment, because the backyard is where this mansion earns every penny of that $8.8 million price tag. In the Hollywood Hills, outdoor space is gold. Most properties are built on steep hillsides with barely enough flat ground for a small patio. But Bad Bunny's property sits on half an acre with sprawling lawns, multiple patios, towering palms creating that resort atmosphere. And then there's the infinity pool. Not just any pool, an infinity edge pool with an inset spa positioned so precisely that when you're floating in that water, it looks like you're suspended above Los Angeles itself. The edge disappears. The city spreads below. For a moment, you're weightless above an entire world. Next to the pool sits a fully equipped outdoor Burbic kitchen. Because when you're Bad Bunny and you're hosting fellow artists, producers, family who've flown in from San Juan, you're not calling DoorDash. You're grilling ribeyes while watching the sun set over Hollywood. Now here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. Bad Bunny owns an $8.8 million mansion above the Sunset Strip. He also bought an $8.3 million cottage from Ariana Grande. He rented a Manhattan penthouse for $150,000 a month, nearly $17 million in LA real estate alone. But if you ask him where home is, he won't say Hollywood Hills. He'll say Puerto Rico. In a 2023 Time magazine interview, he said something that reveals everything. Outside of that house, perhaps the world is listening and talking about me. But in that house, everything is the same. It's beautiful for me to go there, and my parents still look at me with the eyes of, "Come here, Benito Antonio, the baby, the son, the truth." That's the contradiction nobody talks about. The man who spent nearly $9 million on a Hollywood mansion doesn't actually want to be in Hollywood. He wants to be in Vega Baja, eating mofongo at a coastal restaurant, drinking cold beer with his family, being Benito instead of Bad Bunny. But he can't be there all the time because the work demands LA, the collaborations, the recording sessions, the fashion partnerships. The film roles include Bullet Train and Happy Gilmore. So he built a compromise, a mansion in the Hollywood Hills that feels like Puerto Rico. Open floor plan, indoor-outdoor living, palm trees, sunshine, space to breathe. He brought the island to the city. The neighborhood reality. And he's not alone. Leonardo DiCaprio owns property nearby. Keanu Reeves, Tobey Maguire. The Hollywood Hills became a sanctuary for celebrities who value privacy over proximity to the scene. These winding roads hide everything. Long gated driveways, dense foliage, zero visibility from the street. If you're famous and you want to disappear, this is where you go. Bad Bunny saw that and made his move. But here's the part that separates Bad Bunny from every other celebrity buying mansions. Most buy for status, to flex, to show the world they made it. Bad Bunny brought forth a function, the Hollywood Hills Mansion, where he creates, collaborates, and builds the music that made him the most streamed artist on the planet. The Bird Street's Cottage, the escape from the escape, where even his inner circle can't reach him. The Puerto Rico residence, home. He goes to remember who he was before any of this happened. Every property serves a specific purpose. Nothing is random, nothing is just for show. He started bagging groceries in Puerto Rico. Now he owns a Hollywood Hills compound where Grammy-winning albums are born and the most streamed artist on earth can finally breathe. This is Benito's world. Unfiltered, unapologetic, unstoppable. If this opened your eyes, subscribe and tell us which celebrity mansion we should tour next.